A little over a month ago, I had a goal to take a camera with me everywhere I went, every day for 30 days, with the sole purpose to get better at photography. The only rule was that at least once a day, I would make one real, intentional effort to make a good photo. This challenge began at the beginning of April, and at that point, I didn't have any specific style in mind. I just knew I wanted to shoot. However, in the months leading up to this, I had started to gravitate towards street photography, and that interest is what ultimately inspired this challenge. So while I did explore different genres throughout the last 30 days, my main focus was to improve as a street photographer. And I use that term lightly because I don't really consider myself a street photographer. I don't even consider myself a photographer. I feel like I haven't really put in enough time to earn that title, but that's what I wanted to improve in, is just getting better at photography. I'm aware a lot of you probably haven't heard of street photography. It's pretty niche. And to put it simply, street photography is a genre of photography that captures everyday life in public spaces. It focuses on people, environments, and scenes as they naturally unfold. And if you're connecting the dots, yes, it is taking photos of strangers. Most of the time, without their knowledge, and most of the time, all the time, most of the time, without their consent. And if you're wondering if that's legal, yes, it is, you narc. Jeez. It's less about the street itself and more about observing and documenting real and filtered moments. There's kind of a lot of subgenres within street photography. It doesn't always have to have people, and it definitely doesn't always have to be candid. Don't let anybody tell you it has to be candid. If that's getting more confusing, just know that it's a broad term. Some people who do it will try to tell you that it's not strange and it's not weird. And as someone who really likes it and really likes doing it, I'm here to tell you that it is really strange and it is really weird. No other way to put it, it's fucking weird, all right? I'm sorry, but it's really weird, but I still like it, so man, I don't know. A few weeks before this challenge started, I purchased this Ricoh GR3. I didn't buy this camera just for this video, but I was heavily influenced by its popularity among street photographers. I tried shooting street a few months ago when I first found out about it, but I felt really awkward walking around with a big Nikon mirrorless camera. That's not to say I still don't feel awkward. I still feel extremely awkward even walking around with this, but this challenge was just as much about being seen in public with the camera as it was taking actual photos. But its compact size definitely helps. And look at these two videos. Which guy are you more likely to notice? The guy with the camera that covers his face or the guy with the camera that fits in his palm? I don't know, let me know. I mean, they're probably both pretty noticeable. And this is not a Ricoh review, but when I was on the fence about buying this camera, I saw a quote that said, "The best camera is the one you have with you." And this one fits in my pocket. So look, it fits in my pocket. That's going everywhere with me. I have no excuse but to always have it with me. And I bought it instantly after that, so. You have any eggs I could have bought for the price of this camera? A couple dozen, at least. And to help keep me accountable for this challenge, I created a second Instagram where I posted daily the photos of that day that I felt were the best. Now, if you scroll through it, you're gonna see some days that are definitely half-assed, and it's true. There are definitely some days where I forgot to take a photo until it was almost too late. And so I just snapped wherever I could. Like this peacock that I took a photo of on the way home from work. I mean, that's probably one of the best photos there. Also, I would like to note that I don't know what makes a good photo. I'm still very new to photography in general. I can look at a photo and tell you if I like it or not, but I can't really tell you why. And of course, photography is entirely subjective, but there tend to be some reoccurring elements that are generally considered more pleasing to look at. Things like strong composition and good lighting and a clear subject. But I think what I like most about photography is that a photo can seemingly lack all those qualities and still be a good photo. Or maybe I'm trying to convince myself that I'm not as ass as I know I am. When this challenge started, it was focused on getting technically better with my camera. But as time went on, that seemed to matter less and less, and I just focused on getting better photos. One thing I was working on a lot, specifically when it came to street photography, was taking that extra step in. The Ricoh is a 28mm fixed lens, so it's pretty wide. It's about as wide as this camera is right now. So if you're not filling the frame, it can often be a worse photo. And that's mainly a confidence thing. That's less of a technical ability and more not being scared to take the photo. So I wasn't really focused on much else other than just getting my reps in. And definitely at the start, I took a lot more photos of people's backs than people's fronts. Just because it was a lot easier to lift my camera when they weren't facing me than it was when they were walking towards me. Now, I know I'm talking a lot about street photography right now, but like I said earlier, this challenge is about getting better at photography, not just street photography. On days I wasn't photographing strangers, I was either taking pictures of my girlfriend and friends or just shooting wherever I was around that day. If the hardest thing about shooting street is just taking photos of unwilling people, the hardest thing about everything else is making photos out of nothing. For example, day 18, I went riding out in the desert, and while I was out there, I struggled to find a good composition. So I tried to use my truck to make something interesting. I think I failed, but that's the best I could do. On day 19, it was close to the end of the day and I still hadn't gotten a photo. So I just asked my girlfriend to sit in front of a lamp in our room and just took a picture of her silhouette. Day 20 and 23, they're both taking out work. It kind of looks like Raiders Lost Ark in this little area of the warehouse. Day 8, I went to a show and took photos of the singer from the side of the stage. This is also probably a good time to mention that almost every photo, except for these two with the singer that I can remember, are unedited. This is one area in photography that I'm absolutely lacking in. I do not edit my photos. I think I just like how they come straight out of the Ricoh with the recipe that I made. And I do shoot JPEG plus RAW just in case I ever do want to go back and edit my photos. I just have too much trauma, honestly, when it comes to Adobe products. This challenge went beyond just taking pictures. Just as often as I was clicking the shutter button, I was researching photographers for inspiration and ideas. I looked online and on Instagram and photo books and even went to the library for the first time in 15 years. And it just so happened to be the loudest fucking library that I've ever been to. So I quickly left, but not before looking through this Robert Frank book that I found. And just to quickly list off some photographers that I really enjoyed throughout the month. Alex Webb for his incredibly complex, colorful scenes. Martin Parr for his work documenting British culture. Harry Gruyere for his moody scenes with subtle abstraction. Eduardo Ortiz for his spotlighting of working class around the world. Jeremy Page for his pictures exploring Hollywood Boulevard. Steve McCurry for his stories in conflict zones and distant cultures. And Andre Wagner for this photo specifically. Another good thing that came out of this challenge is that my average step count shot up. I was walking 15 to 20,000 steps a day sometimes. I didn't mean to flex anything like that, but your boy be walking. So dumb. I'm not sure how far I'll go with photography. I'm not really as interested in photographing things like landscapes or still life as I am in street specifically. But I live in Las Vegas, and if you know anything about Las Vegas, there's really only two places you can go to shoot photos like this. That's the Strip or Fremont. And if you spent any time here or you live here, you know that unless you're drunk or going to gamble, it's really not that fun. It kind of stinks. The homeless issue is getting out of control. The people there are kind of rude. And the people I'm referring to are the people that are dressed up in costumes that are there to be photographed. They just don't like it unless you pay them. So, I mean, I know you're trying to make some bread, buddy, but you're dressed up like Minnie Mouse. What you want me to do? How can I not take a photo? Plus, it's also about to be summer, and if you know anything about Vegas, it averages 110 in June and July. So that's me pretty miserable. So I do like taking photos once I actually get out there, but with all those things in mind, it can be kind of difficult to go sometimes. Maybe I'll do a video about drunk photography to trick myself into going more. I'm not walking away from this challenge with a portfolio or a style or even a clue on what makes a good photo, but I did show up every day, and I did point a camera at something, and I did every day make an effort to get one good photo. Whether I got one good photo every day, probably not. But so it wasn't life-changing, but it was fun. It's kind of awkward sometimes, a little frustrating, especially when I messed up the settings on my camera and missed a shot that could have been cool. But this was a very rewarding experience. And not to keep harping on about the Ricoh, but one cool thing that it does is when you turn it off, it shows you the amount of shots you took for that day and the amount of shots you've taken in total. And I know that's not unique to this camera, but it's cool to see that progress. And so I started this video off with it, but Henry Cartier Bresson, I don't know how to say it, French dude, said that your first 10,000 shots will be your worst. And if we go off of what he said, that means, okay, I'm at 2,087, so I have a little under 8,000 shots to go. Oh, that's kind of a lot. And he was probably referring to film photography. So that probably means I have like 100,000 shots. Shit. I didn't do this because I want to become a professional photographer or start some big project. I mean, those would be fucking sick, don't get me wrong. But I did it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could commit to something creative and stick with it. I've always been someone who constantly tries new things. I find a new hobby, I get super excited about it. I get to a level that's just above beginner, or I find the next best thing, and then I abandon that old one completely. So this challenge forced me to slow down and be patient, to suck at something for a little bit and keep going anyway. And it can be hard when you're the only one holding yourself accountable. But that's what I did for 30 days straight. I went out with my camera and tried to find something interesting worth shooting. I may not have always found it, but I tried every day. And I know 30 days is not a long time whatsoever. There are photographers that dedicate their entire life to this and still might not have a clue what they're doing. But I do feel like I took a step, even a small step, towards becoming more confident and observant and maybe even a little bit artistic, not autistic. Artistic. I meant to say autistic. I'm not sure what's gonna come next. I might not be as consistent with my camera going forward. I might jump into another challenge. One thing I will say is I am gonna make more videos about photography. I really enjoy it right now, so I'm gonna keep making videos about it. And if you're not into that, there's the door, bro. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you for watching. There will be another video about motorcycles next week. Don't worry, it's coming back, probably. I don't know. I have plans. I have concepts of a plan. Or maybe I just sell the bike and buy a Leica or something, I don't know. And you know what? Not to vent real quick at the end of this video, but to all those guys online to say that gear does not matter while simultaneously shooting with a $6,000 M6, you should know you're annoying. Gear doesn't matter. Okay, if gear doesn't matter, then why'd you go out and buy one of the most expensive cameras on the market? Kinda seem like gear matters, doesn't it, buddy? Huh? You should only be saying that if you're shooting with a $500 camera or less. If it's anything above that, then obviously gear matters. Right? Obviously. Anyways, I'm gonna keep taking pictures. Not because I think I'm great at it or anything, but just because I really enjoy it. Even if it's a little weird. Even if it's a little strange. Because I'm taking pictures of strangers. That's fucking stupid. Okay, now say cheese. Aw, you look so cute. Yeah, I got a film camera, so. You know what's coming.